You're welcome. It's a pretty tiny book, but it does have a small section on solutions that I will try to share kind of the overview of with you. The final chapter is called Towards Wholeness, and of course, it's about healing. So it says that the primary task for healing is about separating from the parent that you had this type of relationship with. Because basically, this type of parent-child relationship has had a lot of boundary violations and is like enmeshed in inappropriate ways. And so a big part of healing is going to be to separate from that parent in the areas that are inappropriate or enmeshed. And doing that likely requires processing the reality of the trauma and its impacts, and just like really coming to terms with that, because a lot of times there is this combination of kind of really having a lot of fondness for this parent and even kind of like putting them on a pedestal, combined with a lot of like resentment and stuff from the ways that you have been kind of used for their emotional needs. And so you have to kind of lean out of that idealized part of how you see them and lean into recognizing the harm that they've caused in order to get to a place where you're comfortable setting boundaries or feel like you need to set boundaries. Some of the things it lists are healing any like addictive behaviors, let go of the idealized image of this parent that caused harm, finding and acknowledging your anger towards that parent. If that parent is still alive, separating from them, setting healthy boundaries. Also dealing with your feelings with the parent that didn't harm you, because when you have this type of enmeshed and overly close relationship with one of your parents, that is going to have an effect on your relationship with the opposite parent as well. And so your view of both parents has been skewed. And so kind of trying to start fresh and really like getting to know your other parent in a more honest and genuine way will be healing for you. Is if they're both alive, it suggests spending time with each of your parents separately so that you can just kind of get a more honest view of both of them. A lot of times this happens in opposite gender relationships. So like daughters are often harmed by fathers and sons by mothers. And if that is the case, then a lot of times that will have skewed the child's understanding of their own gender. So like in the case of a mother that has harmed a son, the son's understanding of what a man is or what a man should be or what like a good man is was shaped by his mother and by his relationship with her and her expectations of him. And so getting into a support group for your gender and trying to kind of work on some of your expectations for yourself or people of your gender based on that, to kind of like get rid of your mom's or your parents' expectations of your gender. The second major area that it covers is your like current adult like romantic relationships or your marriage or whatever, because a lot of the time this pattern will repeat and it will have impacted your like bedroom life or bedroom experiences and your expectations for your spouse. And so sometimes people end up in relationships with a person that is like their parent that harmed them. And so if that's the case, then like healing needs to be done within that marriage. Because if you're going to try to undo your patterns but your spouse is fulfilling the patterns that your mother or father had, then they would also need to do work on their side to heal their side of things. But also it said, even if you have not gotten with somebody who is similar to the parent that harmed you, then you usually will still have marriage issues. A lot of times, if you're not with that type of partner, you will have gotten very ambivalent, and you will have this idea that they are like really not a good partner, even if that's not necessarily accurate. Like I was eating Cheetos. Even if your expectation of like your expectations for a spouse might be really unreasonable. And so if that's the case, then you want to catch that and adjust your expectations for your spouse. So another area is working on boundaries in general. A lot of times people with this pattern from their childhood will feel like their job is to like prioritize other people, and they will put themselves last, and they may not really know themselves that well, and they might not know their own preferences and things like that. And so there's work to be done just in like self-discovery and figuring out what you like and what you want, and working on like self-esteem and self-worth and what you deserve, and like actually trying to meet your own needs and have some of your own wishes fulfilled. This is just me, and this isn't my exact experience, and it's also like not my husband's. There are like bits and pieces that apply. I was like suggested this because of my like non-contact SA trauma, but I didn't have like the emotional piece like this talks about. But still, my take is, as far as therapy goes, that this type of trauma really covers some like lesser, it has like a sexual impact. So even if there is no touch, and there's no like overt inappropriate sexual stuff that happened, even if it's like purely emotional, it still has an impact on a child's developing sexuality and their like understanding of intimacy and things like that. And so it's a sexual wound, even though it's kind of not like your typical sexual trauma. So having a therapist that is familiar with sexual trauma, emotional trauma, and attachment trauma would be really key.